Hello everyone, Shalom Uvracha. Welcome back to our Limud of Ilchot Pesach. And in this second shiur, we're getting into the basar, mamash, into the chametz, starting to discuss the chametz itself. And this year we're going to be discussing the b'dika. The second half of the shiur is going to be focusing on the b'dika itself, the time, how, when, and all the details to do with the b'dika. The first half is going to be laying down the foundations, trying for understanding what exactly are we doing. What are we trying to achieve halachically, and understanding the different terms. So before we even get into the sugiyot themselves, we need to have in mind three different terms: bedika, bitul, bi'ur. Okay, we're going to get into each one of these three, what exactly they mean. But bedika is checking, looking, cleaning the house of the chametz. Bitul is halachically making the chametz irrelevant, with no significance, no meaning, no importance, hefker. Okay, and then the bi'ur is the actual burning. Okay. Now we want to start getting into the sugiyah. So first of all, we want to start discussing the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, sorry, in Masechet Pesachim in Daf Daled Amud Bet. Hakol ne'emanim al biur chametz. Everyone is ne'eman, is trustworthy when it comes to biur chametz. Why? Says the Gemara, kivan debedikat chametz midirabanan hu, demideoraita bebitul be'alma stagilei hemninu rabanan midrabanan. Meaning, bemet from the Torah mideoraita. All one needs to do before Pesach is bitul, right? We said three times. So the second one, bitul, is cancel the chametz. And Chachamim said we need an extra layer of bedika. So we'll get in a few minutes. We'll discuss why did Chachamim require this extra level. But first of all, there's a discussion in the Rishonim when the Gemara says mideoraita bebitul be'al masagi. What exactly is that bitul? What does it mean? So Rashi on the Sugya in Pesachim says bitul be'alma. Meaning, what is bitul? As we said, canceling in our mind. The Rambam also goes, in the Rambam we actually have two different girsot. In one girsa, in Ilchot Chametz Umatzah, Perek Bet, Halacha Bet, he writes, Umay Hashbata zo amora b'Torah, היא שיבטל החמץ בליבו, ויחשוב אותו כעפר. So bitul like Rashi in the heart, right? Belibo. There is another girsa, okay, which is today found in the Yeshiva Rambam Frenkel, when the same halacha it says, "Umahi hashbata zo amura b'Torah," היא שיסיר החמץ הידוע לו מרשותו, ושאינו ידוע יבטלנו בליבו טה. So the Rambam, according to this girsa, makes a difference between chametz that we know that exists and where it is, and chametz that we don't know. Chametz that we do know, the bi'ur is what? The bi'ur is to get rid of it, get it out of the house, clean the house. Chametz that we don't know where it is, then we have bitul. Metzuyan, yefeh meod. Ri in the Tosfot in Pesachim, or in Daf Daled Amud Bet, Dibur HaMelchim Mideoraita, they bring a bit of a kashya on Rashi, which we just learned according to one of the Girsot, also the Rambam. Not going to get into the kashya too much, it's not a shiur lamdanuti right now. And the Ri's opinion is that the bitul the Torah is talking about is the hefker itself, which is not bitul mehalev, is a maaseh, halachic maaseh of hefker. Now we can do a bit of londes. What is the difference exactly when Rashi says bitul balev? It mimele becomes hefker, but we're going to leave that aside. There's a whole discussion in the Bet Yosef trying to understand the two on the run, but we're not going to get into that now. Okay, the next thing we want to. So we've learned there's two different opinions of what exactly is the bitul, the hashbata that the Torah said, and we've learned that miteoraita we need bitul, and Chachamim said we also need bedika. So when does the Isur of chametz start? We're talking about the prohibition of having chametz in our house. When does it start? So again, the Gemara in Pesachim, same Daf Daled Amud Bet, says the kulei alma mi hachametz mishesh shaot ulemala asur. Meaning, we all opinions. There's a machloket there. We'll get to it in a few minutes because it's relevant for something you want to learn later. But everyone agrees that from 6 hours onwards, meaning chatzot, midday of erev Pesach, chametz is asur mideoraita. Where do we learn this from? Amar Abaye. There's a few different opinions in the Gemara. We'll just bring Abaye because most of the Rishonim just go with him. It's quite simple. It says Abaye. There's two pisukim. One pasuk says, "Shivat yemim seor lo yimatzer b'vatechem." For 7 days you can't have seor in your houses. And the other pasuk says, "Ach vayom harishon tashbitu torah b'vatechem." On the first day, you do the hashbata of the seor. That doesn't work. Why does that not work? Because if on the first day, that's when we get rid of the chametz, then the first day is not a full day. We don't have full 7 days without chametz. We have 6.5, 6 3/4, not 7 days. So how can that be? Says Abaye, lerabot 14 lebiur. The pasuk that says ach bayom harishon tashbitu is talking about the day before Pesach. 14. And how do we know it's midday chatzot? Ach, the word ach means chilek, chetzi chetzi. Okay, so halfway through the day is when chametz becomes asur. Metzuyan. I mentioned a minute ago that there is a machloket. What is the machloket? In the Mishnah, in Masechet Pesachim Daf Yud Aleph, we have 2 opinions in the Mishnah. Rabbi Meir says, "Ochlim kol chamesh v'sorfim b'tchilat shesh," meaning we can eat chametz the entire 5th halachic hour sha'al zmanit of erev Pesach, and we burn the chametz the beginning of the 6th hour, which is a whole halachic sha'al zmanit before the time of the Easter starts. But Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah disagrees, and he says everything has to be brought forwards an hour. Ochlim kol arba, meaning until the end of the 4th hour, halachic hour sha'al zmanit, we can eat. Tolin kol chamesh, the 5th hour, we don't eat anymore, but we don't have to burn it. I mean, we can burn it, but we don't have to burn it yet. Vesofim b'tchilat shesh. So meaning Rabbi Yehuda says we have to forbid eating chametz 1 hour earlier than Rabbi Meir. What is the why do we have this? We said it's only a sur from chatzot. So 2 pages later in Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph says Rava gezeira mishum yom ha'meunan, meaning it could be a cloudy day. And how do we know when chatzot is? We look at the luach, which is on the fridge. Bisman Chazal, what did they do? They would look at the sun. When the sun would be straight up in the middle, zenit, as we say, that is when they would know it's chatzot. And if it's cloudy, you can't know. You can't know. And the Gemara discusses and says that 1 hour is not enough. It's too close, etc., etc. Okay. So 4 hours is far enough for Rabbi Yehuda. 1 hour back to 5th hour is enough for Rabbi Meir. So now we want to ask ourselves and say, okay, so what have we learned until now? We've learned that midday erev Pesach, that's when we have to do tashbitu. And tashbitu, we saw 2 opinions in the Rishonim. Is it bitul balev? Is it according to one Girsah in the Rambam and Rashi, or is it getting rid of the chametz out of the house, which is the second Girsah in the Rambam, or is it making it hefker, which is the De'ah of the Tosfot? Now the question is, where does we said that Chachamim said we need to do b'dika, right? Mideoraita bitul is enough, which happens at midday erev Pesach. But Chachamim require us to do b'dikat chametz, as we said, the Gemara in Pesachim Daled Amud Bet. Why? What is the reason that we need to do b'dikat chametz? So this is actually a very famous machloket within Olam HaYeshivot. This is one of these machloket that anyone that's learned Yichot Pesach, even just a little bit, Be'iyun knows the famous machloket between Rashi and Tosfot. We'll go over it very quickly. According to Rashi, we do b'dika to prevent us from violating bali reu bali matzeh. Meaning, if I only do bitul, which is what did Rashi say bitul is? Bitul is I mafkir in my heart, right? I say all the chametz that I have in my house, in reshuti, is hefker ke'afro de'alma. And then on Yom Tov, I open my fridge and I see a fresh, a melawach or a pasta from the day before. What's going to happen? It could be for 1 or 2 seconds that I say, ooh, I want that for lunch. Oh, chametz in my fridge on Pesach, and I'm thinking that I want to eat it. That's vali reu vali matzeh. There's a whole pilpul here in Shittat Rashi in the Ran, but we're going to again put that aside. Tosfot say, 1 second. If the Torah said that it's daive bitul, then the chametz in my house is nothing, right? If my chametz in my house is nothing, who cares if I see it and think that I want to eat it? So say Tosfot, b'dika is not to prevent me violating bali reu bali matzeh. B'dika is to prevent me eating the chametz. And if I eat it, it's a halachic principle of achshevei, meaning I'm eating it. It's not dust. It's not afar de alma. It's not hefker. By me eating it, I'm proving that it means something to me, that it's important. So these are the two different reasons of why we need to do b'dika. Yafeh, metzuyan. Why do we need to do? Why is there such a chumrah? We know there's a Gzerat Chachamim here. What's the reason? So the same Tosfot here that argues with Rashi. So Ri adds also the reason, or the two reasons of the special Chumrah of Chametz, and these two reasons are going to spend. We're gonna spend a lot of time with them because they are very important and crucial for a lot of halachot to Hilchot Pesach. And these are the two reasons. Number one, in the words of Chazal, chametz lo bedilei minei, meaning we're allowed to eat chametz the entire year. It's not like a piece of non-kosher meat. We know to stay away. On one minute I'm allowed to eat the bread, the next minute I'm not allowed to. I'm used to eating bread. I'm used to eating pasta and biscuits. Okay, so chametz is allowed the entire year. So we need to be extra machmir, to be extra careful that we don't eat it on Pesach. That's reason number one. Reason number two is we see that the Torah has a special chumrah about chametz. Usually, when we have something that is asur, it's asur. I can have it in my house. I can have non-kosher food in my house. I can have all kinds of isturim in my house. Some of them are just isturim. Even isturei hana, I can have it in my house. But here the Torah comes and says you can't even have it in your house. You have vali reo, vali matzeh. So Chachamim learn from this that there is an extra chumrah about chametz. So they came and placed this gezerah of the need to bodek. Okay, so now the question is, we understood that sometime before midday of Erev Pesach, we need to do bdikat chametz, and this is midirabanan, and we saw the few reasons of why, Rashi and Tosfot. Now the question is, so when? So when do we do it? So this is the opening Mishnah of Masechet Tzachim. Says the Mishnah, the first Mishnah, Daf Bet Amud Aleph, or le-14 borkin et chametz leor haner. Amazing. So then the Gemara asks, so when do we do? When do we do? Is the Gemara in Daf Daled, and we'll skip the Sugiyah, but then the maskana of the Gemara is, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, we do it the evening of Or le-14, like the Mishnah said. Why? B'sha'ah shebnei adam mitzvim bebatehem ve'or haner yafeh lebdika. So there's two reasons here, right? It's the time where people are at home. It's the evening, and it's getting dark, so the light that comes from the candle it shines. You light a candle in the middle of the day, it doesn't shine, doesn't make any light, and you want to shine it into the wall, into the chorim v'zdakim, as we say. Okay, yafeh meod. There's a whole kind of discussion about can someone check in the day before, but we'll leave that for the lamdonut shiur in a different time. What happens when at night do we need to do the bdika? So the Shulchan Aruch writes, "B'tchilat leil yudaled benisan bodkim et hachametz leor haner." And this is, of course, based on the Rishonim, the Ran in Masechet Tzachim Daf Aleph, and the Ra'avad, the Raavad, also there in Daf Aleph on Midapei Arif, right? That when the Tana says in the Mishnah, "Or la'asar," he's telling us it's the beginning of the night when there's still a bit of light, a bit of or left, and the reason is that you don't forget it and you don't mitrashel v'shokek. Even though some of the Achronim, the Chok Yaakov, and the Mishnah Berurah, and Rav Ovadia and Chazon Ovadia, they all say that even though the Mishnah said Or le-14 and it's as the night begins, you have to wait until it's night. So that means after Tzeit HaKochavim. So as we said, this is these halachot are in the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Taf Lamed Aleph. So this is in the Mishnah Berurah Sif Katan Aleph. It's the first Sif Katan. Rav Ovadia writes this in his Chazon Ovadia for Pesach, page Lamed Gimel. So it has to be the beginning of the night, but not too early. It has to be after Tzeit HaKochavim. Where do we have to check? So also this is famous halacha, says the Mishnah Berurah in Sif Katan Daled, that also a place where we don't always take in chametz today, but even just sometimes we need to do bdika, and this place requires us to do bdika. Okay, next a few halachot about bdikat chametz. Can we learn what happens what about learning Torah before bdikat chametz? So says the Gemara, Masechet Tzachim Daf Daled. Also, we're at the beginning of the Masechet. It's all the halachot of bdika and all this stuff that we're learning. Amar Abaye hilekach, seeming that we have to do the beginning of the night bdika. Haitzuva mirabanan lo liftach beidnei beor tadet leisar denag hei 14. Meaning, if someone has a regular time of learning, and there your learning is after mincha for an hour and 2 hours, and then you go to late Mariv, not on Erev Pesach. Why? You might get into the limud and forget about forget about the mitzvah of Dikat Chametz and remind you this is only a mitzvah Rabbanan Dikat Chametz, even though it's important to do it. Rashi there on the Gemara says this is even if someone who has the et kavua, no, you don't. This night you don't. But when does the Isur to learn start? So if we midayak in Rashi says when does the Isur to learn start? Leilei Yetziat Shlosha Aslav Shel Knisat Arba Asar, meaning the beginning of the 14th. Make that Shki'ah, make that Bein Hashmashot somewhere there. The Rambam says we have to be even a bit more machmir. The Rambam in Hilchot Chametz U'Matzah, chapter Bet, halacha Gimel, says ve'ein kovim midrash besof yom 13, meaning even as we reaching the end of Yud Gimel Nisan, we have to stop. And the Kesef Mishnah there explains, if we look in the Gemara that I read before, Abaye says you don't start, you're not allowed to start learning, meaning even when it's still the day of Yud Gimel, you already should already stop. What happens if someone has already started learning? Well, he's already started learning by mistake in the time that it's forbidden to start learning, and now he remembers, I shouldn't have started. It's the time, it's the day of the year of Dikat Chametz. So Rabbeinu Yonah writes that he doesn't have to stop, and so the Yachonim, so Bet Yosef, and some others explain that. Where does he learn this from? From again the words in the Gemara, lo liftach, meaning don't start your learning. But if you've started already, then finish it. A few other Rishonim agree with Rabbeinu Yonah. The Ritva is one of them on the Gemara, and others also. But the Tur paskins and says, seeming the reason is don't start learning Shema Tishkach. So even if you started learning, I still have the reason of Shema Tishkach. So you have to stop your learning and do Bedikat Chametz. What the Shulchan Aruch says, how the Shulchan Aruch paskin? Shulchan Aruch paskins, ייזהר כל אדם שלא יתחיל בשום מלאכה ולא יאכל עד שיבדוק, ולא ילמוד עד שיבדוק, ואם יתחיל ללמוד מבעוד יום, אין צריך להפסיק. Okay, so as we said, can't start learning. He paskins like the Rambam that the prohibition starts מבעוד יום in Yud Gimel, and he paskins like Rabbeinu Yonah that if you've started, אין צריך להפסיק. The Rema adds, ויש אומרים שצריך להפסיק, וכן נראה לי עיקר. So the minhag of the Pesika of the Rema is that like the tool that if someone started learning in the time when we were not allowed, should stop. Okay, so a few details. Magen Avraham says that Lemaise, this time of the Rambam of how long before is 30 minutes, is half an hour. Mishnah Berurah agrees with him in Siman Sif Katan Hey. Okay, so why is such a chumrah? Why is such a chumrah? And the question arises that we know that in halachot, the mitzvot that are deoraita, like Kriyat Shema, we don't have this kind of an isur of not learning. We know there's an isur melacha, right? But not learning before Kriyat Shema. Why is there such a chumrah? So this is a question that a lot of the achronim discuss. I don't remember the first one, but one of the first ones to discuss it is the Bach, the Beit Chadash, in his commentary on the Tur, and he says, why do we machmir so much? Because B'dikat Chametz is einat tadira, meaning it's an annual event, and because it's an annual event, it's not something that we're used to. It's not in our hergelim, and we might forget. But something that's every day, even if it's Kriyat Shema that is deoraita and it's not chashuv, we do it every day. We used to. You'll hardly miss it. There's a kushia by the Magen Avraham on this. They said, wait, lulav is also once a year, and we don't find this chumrah. Okay, there's other different answers to this kushia, but anyway, it's a question to think about. What happens if there is a shiur kavua at the time of the b'dika? So we said someone who's privately sitting and learning, don't do it at the time of the b'dika. What happens if there's a shiur? There's a shiur with Rabim, a lot of people that stay after Mincha, after Mariv, and they have a shiur. What should they do? So in the poskim already, in Sefer Shut Mayim Amukim, he says that a shiur for Rabim is allowed. You can have it after Arvit. If there's a shiur kavu after Arvit, they can have the shiur even in the evening of B'dikat Chametz, and it'll be okay. But the Taz and the Pri Hadash and the Aruch HaShulchan, they all disagree. The Taz Mamash is Ma'amol Kharif, and it says that in any case, there's no learning can be done. And the Aruch HaShulchan Mamash, he says that this kula by the Maimon Mukim goes against the Rambam per excellence, and it's not accepted. So most Achronim say that even a shiur shouldn't happen, but there is a bit of a kula. So the Magen Avraham in Seif Katan Hey says that if it's a simple shiur, like a shiur behalacha, like what we're doing now, right? We're citing halachot, then you can do that because even after the shiur, someone is just going to go home and they won't forget. If it's a shiur be'idun, it's like a deep shiur. It could be a very needing a lot of thinking in hashkafa or in iyun. Such a shiur is a bit of a problem because the shiur, the sugya is going to pull us in, and we're going to be there. We're going to be thinking about the sugya the entire evening. And it's interesting that Rav Ovadia and Chazon Ovadia went in this part, and then he said that he uses the kula of the Magen Avraham that if it's a simple shiur, a shiur halacha, it's okay to have it even just after Mariv, but this is bitnai that two things. The first tnai is that they announce at the end of the shiur for everyone to remember B'dikat Chametz, and the second thing is that if they can go home after Mariv, do B'dikat Chametz, and then come back for the shiur, then they have to do that and not have the shiur at the time of B'dikat Chametz. Yeah, fair. Okay, so that's about learning. What about davening? What about someone who didn't daven Mariv early, and they has a minyan of Arvit at Tzeta Kochavim, exactly, which is what a lot of people have. So says the Bach that he found a halachic book that says that he doesn't mention who, Haga'ah, that he says that this Haga'ah says that if someone who hasn't daven Mariv yet and he has man b'dika, check first and only afterwards daven. But the Bach doesn't agree with this. And he says, no, you must daven first because tadir v'sheno tadir kodem. And assuming that davening is something kavua in our schedule, it's not going to cause me to forget b'dikat chametz. But the Magen Avraham, he paskins that, the Magen Avraham agrees with the Beit Chadash. Also, you should first daven and then, and only then check. And the Mishnah Berurah agrees with that in Seif Katan Chet. And the Chazon Ovadia, the Rav Ovadia, he makes a bit of a chiluk. He says if there's someone else who can remind you about about Mariv, then you can check now and then daven later. But if there's no one to remind you about Mariv later, you should daven first. And a lot of other achronim mitpalpel about this. And that is about davening. What about eating? So Rabbeinu Peretz, one of Baalei Tosafot, quoted in Tosfot on the Gemara, says that if there is an isur to learn from when the time of the b'dika has come, kol sheken there is an isur to start eating. And this is how the Shulchan Aruch paskins in Seif Bet and Siman Taf Lamed Aleph, and he says not to start any melacha, not eating until you do b'dikat chametz. Of course, like most places where we have a halacha about not allowing to eat, the poskim, I explain that this is only serious seudah, sitting for a meal, dining, but eating that is less than that is allowed. And then the question is, where do we draw the line? So the Bach says just having a small taste is okay, and the Magen Avraham says, yeah, but that's only if it's fruit. And even if you have a piece of bread, it shouldn't be more than a beta. And the Mishnah Berurah goes like that, Pascas like that also. And there's all kinds of different explanations. And the Chazon Ovadia again, Rav Ovadia paskins that anyway, half an hour before there's one of B'dika, when the isur of learning starts, according to the Rambam, and as the Shulchan Aruch paskin, you shouldn't eat more than a beitza of anything that is meat or bread or like serious dining, but fruit and vegetables or even some rice, tea and coffee you can have then. So this is the end of the first part of our shiur today, which is basically we went over Siman Taf Lamed Aleph. So Shkoyach, we went over the whole Siman in the Shulchan Aruch about B'dikat Chametz, and now we want to go into Siman Taf Lamed Bet, also some halachot of B'dikat Chametz. This time it's about the bracha. Okay, so says the Gemara in again Masechet Pesachim Daf Zayin Amud Bet. Amar Rav Yehuda habodek tzarich sheyevarech. So we have to say a bracha on B'dikat Chametz. What is the bracha that we say? There's a machloket. Is it levaer or is it al biur? And the Gemara says vehilcheta al biur chametz. So this simple halacha. First of all, we need to ask a question. How come we need to say the bracha al biur chametz and not al b'dikat chametz, right? we're not doing the biur now in the evening. We're going to do the biur tomorrow. I remind you the discussion that we saw at the beginning of the shiur. Biur is either the burning or the hefker, and we'll see later on in the simanim when we do the biur, we do both. We also say the nusach for Rashi and also the burning for Tosfot. So anyway, the biur is not happening now; it's the bedika. So the Tur already writes the bedika zot chilat biur shemiyad achrei bedika umevatlo. Right? So we know, we say we have it in the Sidurim, that once we finish the bedika, we say the kol chamira v'chamia, which we say again the next morning with a bit of a difference, right? So because right after the bedika we also do bitul according to Rashi's shita of bitul. That's why we say the bracha of al biur chametz. Yefeh meod. What happens if someone didn't say the bracha and started doing the bedika? So in the Kolbo, one of Rishonei Ashkenaz, he writes that as long as you haven't finished the bedika yet, you can still say the bracha. And this is like, it's a klal that any mitzvah that takes time, right? It takes a period of time. Even if you've started it, you're still in the middle, you haven't said the bracha, you can still say the bracha. This is how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. As I said, Siman Taf Lamed Bet, Seif Aleph, קודם שיתחיל לבדוק יברך, and the Rema says, ואם יתחיל לבדוק ולא ברכה, יברך כל זמן שלא סיים בדיקתו. We have a few interesting halachot to do with the bedika, and let's go through a few of them. So, an interesting one is netilat yadayim. How many of you wash your hands, do netilat yadayim before bedikat chametz? Write down in the comments. I'm waiting to find the person who does this. But this is according to the poskim, the very, very, very common and pashut halacha. Maharil, one of the serious poskim of Ashkenaz, in his Hilchot Bedikat Chametz writes that Itol Yadav Kodem HaBracha, and this is brought in the Bach, in the Magen Avraham, in the Pri Megadim. He says even more than that. He says if your kids, your Bnei Beitcha, are checking with you, then they should also do the Tilat Yadayim. Why? Because the reason of the Bedika is to prepare us for the Regel. It's the Taharat HaRegel. So amazing. Not only the Bodek himself, Aruch HaShulchan has a bit of a kula. He says if you've washed your hands for Mariv, and since then you haven't dirtied your hands, and you know that you didn't mesiach that, then you don't need to wash them again. But again, as I said, if you do Netilat Yadayim for Bdikat Chametz, please let me know in the comments. I'm looking for these people who do them. I've asked on some WhatsApp groups as a hachana to this shiur, and I haven't found yet anyone, one Sfaradi person that does it because it's written in the Ben Ish Chai. But I haven't found anyone else that does it. We mentioned before the Rema Paskin, like the Korbo, that if you remember during Birkat Chametz, you didn't say the bracha, you can say the bracha during as long as you haven't finished. What happens with someone who finished Birkat Chametz and then remembered that they didn't say the bracha? Says the Magen Avraham that in such a case you say the bracha the next day when you come to burn the chametz. And he says, well, first of all, we have an halachic opinion of the Maharik, who says that anyway, that's the time we should say the bracha. And he interprets the Gemara that we mentioned at the beginning of the Siman, that is talking about the day of Yud Daled and not the evening of when we do Bdikat Chametz. Also, the Taz in Seif Katan Bet Paskins that you should say the bracha the next day, but he brings it from a different source. He brings it from the Rosh, who says that seeming we're burning the chametz before the time that the Oraita defines it as isur, it's also part of the Bdika de Rabbanan. So then you can still say the bracha. But the Bach says that if one has finished the Bdika, he's lost the bracha, and you can't say the bracha again. And zeu ein ma la'asot yoter. And this could maybe fit in a bit with the day of the tour that we said before. We said that we have the Bdika and the Biur immediately, right? Together in the evening. You finish those, what is left? What is left to do? We do have a few poskim that go in this direction, like the Bach, or at least Choshesh, so the Chok Yaakov poskim like that, the Graz, Baal Tanya, for Hasidei Chabad poskim like that. But he adds that Hasidei Chabad should say the bracha again without Shem Malchut. The Mishnah Berurah debates in Seif Katan Daled exactly what should be the halacha, and then he says if someone wants to go back and say the bracha a second time, like the Magen Avraham and the Taz, ein mochin beyado. Say there and other poskim go in different directions, but we've mentioned the main ones. Another interesting halacha about Bdikat Chametz is do we say Shehechianu? Again, if you say Shehechianu, let me know. Baal Haitur, one of the Rishonim, the important Rishonim, says there is a machloket. Should we say Shehechianu on Bdikat Chametz? Some say we should say Shehechianu. Why? Because it's a mitzvah haba mizman lezman. It's a mitzvah that happens once in every certain amount of time. Like all those mitzvot, shofar, lulav, sukkah, all of those mitzvot, matzah, all of those mitzvot, we say Shehechianu. The same also here, even though it's a mitzvah de Rabbanan, I remind you. On the other side, he says, Yesh Omrim, that because there's no zman kavua, so we don't say Shehechianu, meaning matzah is in El Seder, Tetvav Nisan, Arbat Aminim is Tetvav Tishrei, they get a Shehechianu. But Bdikat Chametz is done when? Most of us do it in the evening of Yud Aleph Nisan. But someone who leaves the house on Yud Nisan to go away for 2 weeks does it then. Someone who's going away on Rosh Hashanah and knows that he's coming home on Erev Pesach does Bdikat Chametz on Rosh Hashanah. Right? So there's no Zman Kavua. So because there's no Zman Kavua, you can't say the bracha of the Zman. Yafeh, so those are the two svarot that the Baal Haitur brings. Other Rishonim also quote them. The Rashba in his Shut, in Chelek Aleph, Siman Resh Kaf Gimel, brings both of these svarot, and says that the minhag is not to say Birkat Shehechianu. And also the Rosh brings the two svarot, and he says we don't say Shehechianu. Why? For an interesting reason, because we rely on the Shehechianu. We're going to say that in 24 hours later at Leil HaSeder, and that is why we don't say Shehechianu. A few other interesting reasons why not to say Shehechianu. So the Abudraham brings an interesting reason that Shehechianu is only said when there is something that is Simcha and Hana'ah. But here, Bdikat Chametz, we have Tsar because we are burning our property, burning our food. So we're losing, right? We're losing money. That's one reason he says no, we don't say Shehechianu. A second reason that Abudraham brings is that we only say Shehechianu when we're performing the mitzvah, and it's also the end. We do the mitzvah, it's finished. Take the lulav, shake it, done. Take the matzah, eat it, done. Mitzvah is completed. Here we're doing the bdika, checking, and when are we finishing the mitzvah? Tomorrow morning. No, we can't say Shehechianu now. And one more, we'll mention one more reason, because I think it's also a good one. The Meiri also in his Perush to the Gemara says that we only say Shehechianu on a mitzvah, that the mitzvah is the purpose. What is the purpose? To take the lulav. What is the purpose? To eat the matzah. What is the purpose? To hear the shofar. What is the purpose of the Bdikat Chametz? Either like Rashi to prevent Bali Ravali Matzeh, or like Tosfot to prevent Achilat Chametz, right? So he says it's not a mitzvah, it's harchakat avera. So when we have a halacha, a mitzvah, which is its purpose is a harchakat avera, in such a case, we don't say Shehechianu. So how do we paskin? You should probably guess that we don't say Shehechianu. But the two writes that mistabra reshutu uman debai mevarech, meaning it's a reshut, anyone who wants to can say the bracha. The Beit Yosef is quite doesn't understand why the two goes down that direction, and he says, "What do you mean? If it's a machloket, or if it's a reshut, so we should say what we say all the time in these cases, sfek brachot lo yivarech." And he says in the tzarich yun on the two, and 99% of the poskim say that we don't say Shehechianu, but this is where the poskim that are the Mekubalim come into place. The Ben Ish Chai and the Kaf HaChaim, mainly the Sfaradim, also Rav Ovadia and Chazon Ovadia, and they say, seeming that we found the Svara in the Rishonim, that we should say Shehechianu. So what we should do is we should get a new fruit or a new beged, just like what we do with the second day Yom Tov and that kind of stuff, and then we can say Shehechianu. Rav Ovadia does say that you should say the Shehechianu only after you've already started a bit of the Bdika, right? To make sure that you stay away from the Safek. And then what comes first, which bracha? So Rav Yaakov Yosef writes that in Beitach Shana, he says the best thing to do is Shehechianu, have a bite from the new fruit, then say the bracha of Bdikat Chametz, and then do the Bdika. But again, if you say Shehechianu on Bdikat Chametz, let me know. What happens if someone speaks in the middle of the Bdika? You know, we usually try and not to speak in the middle of the Bdika. So this is a question that the Rosh was asked, and in his Shut, Klal Yudalet Siman Gimel, he says like this: some people say that the bodek can't speak, the person doing the bdika can't speak until he finishes the bdika. Some say even more than that, says the Rosh, that if he did speak, he has to go back and say the bracha me'atchala. Says the Rosh, v'chol ze einenu shovel li. You're probably writing this to on Purim. Meaning, אין דבר כזה. He says, נכון, יש להיזהר שלא לדבר בין הברכה לתחילת הבדיקה. Why? Because you should not talk between saying the bracha and starting the bdika, because כל המצוות מברך עליהן עובר לסייעתן. You don't need to be a hextech between the bracha and the action the bracha is applying to. But once he started the bdika, you can do whatever you want. And the Rosh has a special re'ayah for this, from mitzvah sukkah. Someone sits in the sukkah and says, and sits in the sukkah and has a discussion with someone else and has a phone call or whatever it is. Is that a hester dat? But when they finish the conversation and they go back to eating, they have to say leshev sukkah again? He says the Rosh, mamash lo. And so also the Rashba says that he agrees with the Rosh too. Shulchan Aruch paskin that it's best to be lehizaher shelo ledaber ben hizaher shelo ledaber ben habracha lebdika tchilat habdika, meaning you can't talk between the bracha and the beginning of the bdika. And then he adds v'tov shelo yedaber b'dvarim acherim ad shigmor kol habdika. But listen to the reasoning that Shulchan Aruch brings. כדי שישים אל ליבו לבדוק כל המקומות שמכניסים בו חמץ. Meaning, it's not because of hextech, and not because anything says the Shulchan Aruch. What is the reason? Focus. We want you to focus. I want you to focus, and so keep silent. What happens if someone did speak between the bracha and the beginning of the bdika? Says the Magen Avraham, you have to go back and say the bracha again. And the Mishnah Berurah also agrees. But also Tfilah LeMoshe agrees. All of these poskim agree that if someone speaks during the bdika, there's no problem. And even lekatchila, you can talk about things that are me'inyan abdika. If you're not sure exactly where, if there's a piece of chametz hiding behind a piece of furniture, you can say lechapes sham. I look over there. There's no problem in speaking about inyanim of the bdika. Who's going to add, the Rav Ovadia writes in Chazon Ovadia, that someone is in the middle of the bdika can answer Amen yesh merabah and baruchu, and even asher yatzar if they have to go to the toilet in the middle, or if someone hears thunder and lightning, etc., etc. All of these brachot someone can say. Also, the Piskei Teshuvot brings a number of achronim that agree with this and go and paskin and rule in that way. A few halachot about someone who has to check more than one place. So there's a Tosefta in Masechet Brachot that says that if 10 people are doing one mitzvah, one person says the bracha for all of them. Okay? Based on this, says the Shulchan Aruch, בברכה אחת יכול לבדוק כמה בתים. Meaning one bracha is enough for a few houses. ואם בעל הבית רוצה, יעמיד בבני ביתו אצלו בשעה שהוא מברך, ויתפזרו לבדוק איש במקומו. Meaning you have a big house, we gather all the family together, and we say, Yankele, you are to that room. Yoiskele, you are to that room. Sarale, you to there. Bruchale, you to there. Say the bracha, each one goes off to their way, and does the bdika in their area. and that's perfectly fine. What happens if someone has to, not a big house, but has to check also places that are outside the house? So the Chayei Adam in Yechot Pesach, and this is based on the Pri Chadash, says that if someone has to check his house and his chanut, let's say, and his shop, and his shop is not in the house, it's outside. So he has to say the bracha twice, one for the house, one for the shop. But not all the poskim agree with this. The Ma'amar Mordechai is the main one that disagrees, and he says, no, kulu chada mitzvah hi. It's all one mitzvah. There's no need to say the bracha again a second time. And Kaf HaChaim agrees and brings a number of poskim that agree that you do not need to say the bracha a second time. But comes the Gaon Rav Shlomo Kluger in his Shut Alef Lecha Shlomo Siman Kuf Tzadik Tet, and says that this all depends how far it is. If you need to go from your house to the car is one thing, but if you need to go from your house and your shop is a 10-minute walk, v'day there's a hisech da'at gemur until you get there. So you have to do such a tonight. When you say the bracha in your house, you make a tonight that you do not want to set your tzei chovah for the chanut, only for the house. And then when you get to the chanut, you say the bracha a second time. This orma is brought by Rav Ovadia also in Chazon Ovadia, And Rav Frank, who was the rabbi of Yerushalayim, in his book Mikrei Kodesh, also says, and they say this is a good solution. What happens if you want people from your family to join in the bdika, but they weren't there to hear the bracha? So the Chok Yaakov, one of the Achronim, writes that in such a case they cannot be sent to check. Yes, you do the bracha, you say the bracha, and suddenly you realize that one of your kids was with the earbuds in their ears, and they realize what's happening, take it out, and they want to check. Oh, they want to check the lounge, and they check the lounge. So the Chok Yaakov says no, they can't. And also Rav Ovadia Paskins like that. And why? Because what happens is basically they're doing the mitzvah without the bracha. But the Olat Shabbat says, assuming we have an halacha, that if someone is having a hard time, it's a big house, it says the bracha, starts the bdika, gets tired. Hey, look. So he can call someone else to finish the bdika for them. And that second person who's coming doesn't need to say the bracha again. So based on that, says the Olat Shabbat, that even if they didn't hear the bracha, then they can still be the shalichim. The Grashaz Auerbach says something else. He says that if each shaliach is looking in a different place in the house, each one can just say a bracha for themselves. It's only when Baal Habayit says the bracha and everyone else has become is pturim because of his bracha, then that's one case. But if you are sending your family members to be shlichim, each shaliach can say the bracha. Omnam, in Shut Rav Pe'alim, he does say that in such a case, if you know this in advance, meaning someone who's very like old or weak or sick, and they know in advance that they can only check a certain portion of their house, and the rest of the house is going to be checked by a shaliach, and the shaliach isn't there yet, they can say the bracha, have in mind to poter only the areas of the house that they're going to do the bdika in, and when the shaliach comes, the shaliach can say the bracha and do bdika in the rest of the house. Okay. What are we looking for when we do bdikat chametz? Says the Ravid in his shut Mimdeim Siman Kaftet that there is a minhag of people to take pieces of chametz and hide them in chorim and zdakim, and he says this is a very, very, very bad minhag. Ve'ein lo shoresh, and we should not do it. And the Orchot Chaim, also one of the Rishonim, he says even though some people in some places do have this minhag, what is their chashash? The chashash is that if you look around the house and you don't find any chametz, your bracha is the bracha levatala. He says, we have no chashash for that. Why? Because the bracha al biur chametz is, what is the meaning? We will mevaer if we find. If I find. If I don't find, then there's nothing to mevaer. And the Kolba also in his halachot says exactly the same. That the purpose of the bracha is to do biur if we find. There's no need to force ourselves to find. But the Rema, even though we brought Ravid, Orchot Chaim, Kolbo, he brings the minhag in the name of Mahari Brin, Mahor ונוהגים להניח פתיתי חמץ במקום שנמצא בודק, כדי שלא יהיה ברכתו לבטלה, so we hide pieces of חמץ, so that the bracha is not a bracha לבטלה, exactly the reason that all these Rishonim said is not a valid chashash. But the Rema adds, if you didn't put, then there's לא כזה משנה. And he brings the explanation of all the Rishonim, because the meaning of the bracha is to mevaer if we find. The Taz says we should not put the pieces of chametz. Why? Because what happens if we don't find? I can't remember how old I was a kid in my parents' house in one of the years, and my father's probably going to be listening to this, so he can write in the comments. There is a piece of chametz that we haven't found till today. There was 1 year that we only found 9, and till today, I think my parents, they moved the flat, I think it was in the old flat, and then they moved, and we still didn't find it, and until today we haven't found it, and it's lost. But what about bracha levatala? There's the Taz, there's no chashash bracha levatala, because the bracha is on the biur for morning. And another interesting reason for not to put ptitim, not to put chametz, is brought by Rabbi Kalfon Moshe Kohen, and he says, what is the problem? Because what is the purpose of bdikat chametz? To look around, look in the house for chametz. But if I already know that there are 10 pieces waiting for me in specific places, what happens is I'm not doing really bdika. I'm doing mitzvat anashim melumada. I know I'm looking for the silver foil pieces in the corner where my kids hide the chametz. So he says, if someone asks you, Rabbi, tell them not to put chametz in the house of bdikat chametz. But lemaaseh, most of us do, and that is for some other interesting reasons. So the Chok Yaakov, which we mentioned a few times this evening, says there's an interesting reason why we should put the psitim of chametz. Why? Because if let's say we've cleaned the house for a month before Pesach, and then we get to bdikat chametz, and we don't hide any chametz in the house, and I start my bdika, and I'm looking around, and I know the house is clean, and it's 5 to 8, and I want to get to the news, so I'm going to stop checking. Okay, I walked around and around. Think with yourselves, how many of you would stop checking if you know the house is clean and there's no chametz hidden for you to look for? You're not gonna do it seriously, right? So that's what the Chok Yaakov says, why we should keep hiding. Then come into play the Mekubalim, and the Ari says there is sodot niflaim in hiding the chametz and finding it, and it should be dafka 10 pieces. And that's how a lot of Achronim Pasken, also Sfaradim, Rav Mazuz Ish Matzliach, Rav Ovadia Nichavei Dat, and a lot of other Achronim too. And that's the main minhag today in Rov Am Yisrael, is to put 10 pieces of chametz. So what chametz can we hide in the house for bdikat chametz? So the Magen Avraham says it should be chametz kasher, meaning not something that crumbles. So today what people do is they put it in a silver foil and in a sandwich bag so it doesn't make a mess. And some of the Achronim, the Chida, mainly the Chida, and Rav Ovadia passages like this also say that you should mehader to make sure each chaticha is less than a zayit. And even if you lose it, less than an olive, even if you lose it and you don't find it, you don't over al bal yira'eh uval imatzer. What happens about someone who is checking, doing the bdikat chametz before you daled? Someone is leaving the house a day early, someone is leaving the house a week early. Should they also do the bdika and hide the pieces of chametz around the house? So says the Minchat Yitzchak, you shouldn't. Why? Because the main reason that the poskim wrote to hide the pieces of chametz is to prevent the bracha levatala. But when you do bdikat chametz early, you don't say the bracha anyway, right? So if there's no bracha anyway, why hide them? But the Rebbe Yoshiv in his Kovetz Tshuvot, Chelek Gimel Siman Ayin Gimel, he says that because the Mekubalim said there is a sod badavar, then even if you are doing the bdikat chametz before you daled Nisan, you should hide the chametz when you're doing the bdika. Lemaaseh, what are we doing nowadays? So Rebbe Yoshiv in a few places say that mikar hadin today we need to put the psitim, we need to put the chametz, and if they were not laid there for before the bdika, you can't say the bracha. Okay, amazing. And on the other side, the Gershon Zohar in the Lichot Shlomo, Perek Hey, Seif Bet, he says no, the chovah to say the bracha of bdikat chametz is applies even if there was no chametz hidden around the house, because seeming that today we clean the houses thoroughly before bdikat chametz, and we know there's no chametz in the house, so the chovah of the bdika is not to find the chametz and get it out. What is the inyan of the bdika? Is to just double check that we're really clean, kmo shetzarich. Is the house really, really clean? There's no point if I'm trying to check if the house is really clean, adding dirt for me to check if the house is really clean. So that is the end of Siman Taf Lamed Bet. So in this year we've learned 2 simanim. Actually, we learned them in some kind of be'iyun because we went through the Gemarot and the Rishonim and the Achronim. Siman Taf Lamed Aleph, Siman Taf Lamed Bet. In the next year we're going to Siman Taf Lamed Gimel, which is the dinim of bdikat chametz itself, the candle, the where to go, the what to do, all of that. And Bezrat Hashem will carry on until Chag Pesach, which will Aba Alenu L'Tova, and we'll wish Hatzlacha to Kol Chayalei Tzahal and Anshe Kochot HaBitachon, and Kol to everyone.